The story of the day is Shedeur Sanders. And the fact that Shedeur Sanders is the story of the day is a really good way to start because it's part of the reason that I obviously he wasn't drafted by some. It's if you draft a guy and you expect him to be a backup, then he cannot get more attention than the starter. Now, it doesn't mean that he won't eventually be the starter. When you're young, you want to develop, et cetera, et cetera. But Shedeur Sanders did not practice today. It's unclear for the game versus the Eagles if he'll play Saturday. Here's the good news. He put some good stuff on tape. He's in a quarterback competition, and he put some good stuff on tape. The bad news is that, the number one part of ability is availability. Right? And it's, you could sit here and go, well, it's not fair. He got hurt. And I know the injury is legitimate. Like you play well, you want to get back out there to keep kind of climbing the chart. But now you're still 4 on the depth chart. Other guys get an opportunity. Now you would think the team on the other side will be better as we go, but your team will also be better. And so the better players or the guys higher in the depth chart are going to play with better talent. So, the pressure does go on Trubisky and the other quarterbacks. I don't think Flacco has to do anything. It'll be his job. But to make the team, your best ability is availability. That's a very cheesy, overused, completely accurate NFL line. Sorry, I said Trubisky. I meant Kenny Pickett. Right? So you got Pickett, who, of course, started in Pittsburgh, has a lot of experience. Then you got Dillon Gabriel, who they did draft ahead. And, I've never said I'm a Dillon Gabriel fan. But if you drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, and then you drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, I think Shedeur Sanders, to me, and I think most people, feels like a better kind of true quarterback. Like he has more potential and upside. Dillon Gabriel is small and doesn't have a great arm and kind of, moves around back there, but not a great athlete. Shedeur's doesn't have like a plus arm, but not a super minus. Really accurate, a little bit bigger, probably as or more athletic in terms of escaping stuff. So if you draft Dillon Gabriel at 3 in the 3rd round, you're saying we like this prospect on some level more than we like Shedeur Sanders. And the guess is that what they like about Dillon Gabriel is he does what he's supposed to do. The ball goes where it's supposed to go. And then he's egoless so he can be a backup quarterback and won't cause any ruckus. And if you're Shedeur and you do naturally you do kind of change the temperature of the room. Some of it's because of his dad, but a lot of it, let's just be honest, it's because of him and his actions are a lot like his dad. But it'll be fascinating to see what happens based upon what Pickett does, based upon what Dillon Gabriel does, and based upon how long is he out. How long is he out? And just like always, here we are spending time. Worrying about a guy who may or may not play or make a team that very likely won't be in consideration for the playoffs. Hey, this is what we do. And you could say, hey, there's good to it. It brings attention to the Cleveland Browns. I don't think that's Stefanski's type. And remember, Shedeur doesn't have the off-the-field baggage that a Johnny Manziel did, but Johnny Manziel was drafted, kept, played because he had this big following. And they realized it didn't matter because, 1, he wasn't working at it, and 2, he wasn't good enough. And so my concern for Shedeur is that does the failings of Johnny Manziel rub off on him, in addition to the fact that now he's not healthy? And then, you guys, have you ever had an oblique injury? An oblique injury, it's not as bad as your back, but it's similar. It's any time you twist and move. So if you pull your oblique, think about when you're throwing and all the famously Dak Prescott, which Shedeur Sanders does in terms of opening up your hips, that's opening up your oblique. And, we've all pulled muscles before. What happens with a pulled muscle? You think you're fine. You don't know. You give it a little extra time. Then you come back. You're like, oh, right in the middle of it, you tweak it again. So good news is Shedeur Sanders put together a really nice tape of his first start. Couple of misfires early, a little bit confused against the defense and some pressure early. Got it together after that, played well. So he's got some good tape. It looks like he could be an NFL quarterback, despite the fact not. Bad news is a couple things. One, you look throughout the landscape of the league, a lot of young quarterbacks having some success early. And two, what if he would have gotten another chance? It might not matter because he might not have gotten a chance this week or maybe even the third preseason game. And there's always that wonderment of, are they shutting him down? Much like NBA teams shut guys down or college players shut it down if they have a good workout. Like, I had a good workout, I'm shutting it down. That's where I'm going. I can only screw it up if I go work out somewhere else and don't play well. Here's Tony Grossi, by the way, who was on with Colin Cowherd right before our show. They talked about the confrontation Shedeur and him had after the preseason game.
So what did you say that had him all riled up?
I don't know if there's anything specific. It's just that since he arrived, I've treated him as just one of the 90 players. He's got these incredible legion of fans who think the Cleveland Browns season is all about Shedeur Sanders this year. And I've stayed away from that mentality. Although we talk Shedeur constantly on our air, I have to be fair to, what else is going on with the team. And there have been a few things I've questioned. The first time at rookie minicamp, seeing Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on the field together that first day, I came away and said, I understand why the Browns took Dillon Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders. I thought Gabriel did some things that Sanders at that time didn't do. I'm not sure there's one smoking gun thing that I said to get him riled up. And that was the first time. We've been in this camp for 3 going on 4 weeks. And after that game was the first time he said anything to me.
Yeah, I mean, do I think it's better than doing it at the podium? Of course. Of course. But there's also, this is professional sports. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And, oh yeah, by the way, Tony Grossi's entitled to his opinion. But what you're trying to do is intimidate a writer into writing positive things about you, creating what anybody can consider a false narrative. This is what we do now, by the way. And where does it start? You know where it starts. It starts at the top. But this is no different than what Deion Sanders did. He would do this all the time, confront media members if he felt like they were saying something negative. What is the point there? What did you accomplish? So now if you're Tony Grossi, you're sitting there going, okay, well, I'm just trying to do my job. And if I say something nice about Shedeur, people are going to think I'm only saying something nice about Shedeur because he confronted me, not because he earned it. And if you say something negative about him, it's because Shedeur confronted him, and now he's like, now I'll just be the Skip Bayless, I'll just be negative guy. I get it. We all want to correct people. I've done this myself. Called people up, never in public view. And I know this was sort of behind the scenes, but he's clearly standing over him, talking to him, and saying, why don't you write something positive? We all do it. We all read things about ourselves, and when something's written that's unfair, you want to have somebody point it out. But when you do it yourself, and I have done this once myself, it does a couple things. One, it takes you – you'll never be in those headlines again on some level. Or two, it makes it, when it gets out that you've done this, really awkward to read the same person or listen to the same person's work because you don't know if they're saying what they're saying because they're mad or they're just being defensive or what's actually going on. I just think it's fascinating how many people affect so many hosts, because it's like he talks about Shedeur's Legion of Fans. These are just people on social media. They're not real people. They're not. And media members get dragged into it and take sides, and the voices on social media get amplified. But my advice to Shedeur Sanders is really simple. It's the take that for data or how you like that. That's all you have to say. It's the same thing. How you like that. It is exactly like what Shedeur Sanders did. Only it's more, what he did was confrontational. And yeah, everywhere he goes, there's going to be a camera, and he knows there's going to be a camera. Somebody was filming that. That was intentional.